So I play a card game called Magic the Gathering, and we decided to make my friend a fake deck to kind of prank him. Now it's going to be an actual deck. Uh, if you don't know what proxy cards are in the game, if you don't have the money and you want to know if a card works good, a lot of people just write down on a piece of paper the card they want and will use that in a casual game. But we decided that, some people make really nice proxies. Turns out my friend makes proxies, and he does some really good work with them. So we're going to use AI generated images and put just ridiculous photos on these actual cards and build him a 100 card commander deck. And his commander is going to be Tony Danza, and there's a reason for that, because Tony Danza stalks my friend. I'll get in that story a little later. But I'm also buying him just this crazy deck box I found online. And it looks like a TV just because of all the TV stars and stuff that'll be in this. But it's going to be a mix of all kinds of crazy stuff. And AI makes really weird stuff when you type in anything. Like, type in Smurfs and it makes things that look sort of like Smurfs and sometimes do look like Smurfs. So we're going to make those as the token creatures. And this all started because Retro Bird, link in description below, he's a retro gamer, posted this picture. First, I wanted to make a meme of that because I just thought it was funny. And then I thought, well, let's make a fake magic card, slip it in his deck, it'll be kind of funny. And then that just spiraled into my friend, let's do a whole 100 card commander deck. So that's what we're doing. And I bought him some ridiculous dice. It's like there's 100-sided dice. It's a weird set. Here's a photo of the dice. And my favorite part, here's the card sleeves I made for him. And here's the playmat I found. Here's the deck box. And this is the Tony Danza Commander card. And if you're wondering why Tony Danza, back in high school, I think Dustin had mentioned something about he didn't find Who's the Boss funny. He said he didn't understand why people liked the humor in it. And it's just a stupid argument. I started saying he was like a fan of Tony Danza, and he got mad. And then the next time I seen him that day at school, he was mad because they had to watch some movie with Tony Danza. And just ever since then, Tony Danza keeps popping up in his life. So we keep joking that he's Tony's #1 fan. And the next time I record, I'm going to add the footage of when he opens the deck. And then I'm going to post each card for like 10 seconds so everybody can have time to read them. So it's going to be a pretty long vid. But this is just to catch everyone up who wants to keep watching from here. Alright, as I'm making this vid, there's a couple cards I want to talk about. First up, Cowboy Felix. If you're wondering what that card means, we were playing the NES Felix the Cat game, and Dustin was doing pretty good until he got to one level where he fought Cowboy Felix. And even though he was able to defeat Cowboy Felix and die a level or two later, Cowboy Felix really put the hurt on him, so we kept joking that Cowboy Felix doesn't fuck around. This card, the Dustin Band World Tour. So what happened was, one time Dustin wrote Fudge Packer on my stepbrother's hat, and he shoved it down behind my bed. And sometime later, as I'm moving the bed, I found it, I pull it out, and I read it out loud. When my stepbrother grabs the hat, goes storming off, and next thing I know, his stepmom is basically telling my stepdad they don't want Dustin around anymore. Dustin gets banned from my house for a while for doing that. And then at another friend's house, he got in trouble for something else and got banned, so we kept calling it the Dustin Band World Tour. Okay, this one, I actually screwed up. It was supposed to be Snagglepuss, but it's a gay Pink Panther. I completely forgot it was Snagglepuss. We were watching Drawn Together, a cartoon a long time ago. Maybe some of you have seen it. In the cartoon, they kept making jokes about Snagglepuss being gay. Well, the next day, Dustin and my stepdad were outside having a conversation about things you didn't notice in cartoons, like in old Looney Tunes and stuff. And Dustin mentioned, well, it's like you didn't know Snagglepuss was gay. My stepdad got really mad But it was like that, not like anger, but like just straight disappointment. Told him he was sick and went back in the house, and we're doing everything not to laugh because he got so mad about the idea of Snagglepuss being gay, and I've never seen him that upset. And it's Pokemon Monopoly, but I don't really know if it fits the theme or not. Smother and Tithe, maybe it does, but says on the bottom here, "Are you boys sure you aren't doing drugs? You can tell me if you were." Now, this is a bit of a longer story. Dustin had started having seizures when I was in high school, and I'd seen one or two at this point. But we're playing a Spawn game on the Dreamcast one night, me, him, my friend Lee, and all of a sudden my console just goes flying across the room. I'm like, what the hell? Turn around. Dustin is, having a seizure, and we had a fold-out bed. He is just all over the place having a seizure. My friend Lee was in shock because he'd never seen this before, and it is very shocking if first time you've ever seen it. I go run to get my mom to call 911. When we come back in at this point, while she's calling, seeing what he's doing, everything, and my little nephew was probably 3 or 4, thinks Dustin's playing, so he jumps off the back of the couch doing wrestling moves. So Dustin lost a wrestling match with a toddler, but he couldn't help it. About this point, ambulance comes, they take Dustin away. Dustin's dad comes in. And, we're always goofing off. We didn't take a lot of things serious, even probably when we should have, because it leads to stuff like this. I think his dad really wanted him to be on drugs. He kept grilling me and my friend Lee, "Are you boys on drugs? You can tell me. It's okay if you are. I don't care. I just need to know." We really really think he wanted us to tell him Dustin was on drugs. Like, he really wanted Dustin to be on drugs. And that's about all the stories I got. I hope you've enjoyed all the cards. Next part of this vid will hopefully be Dustin being recorded playing the deck. On another note, this was the art. My friend typed in King Arthur ransacking stuff. And this card's called Burgeoning. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But we were sitting there one day talking about, I was talking about a prank phone call that happened. Somebody had called me and was making baby sounds. And I thought one of my friends had did it. And I thought it was Dustin. And I'm laying in the bed. There's a chair in front of me. My friend Jonathan's playing a video game. Now, I can't see anything really. But I noticed at some point that it's just quiet, which means Jonathan paused the game. Now, what happened was Dustin was trying to imitate the baby sounds. So I'm sitting there laying in bed. He's like sitting back making these baby sounds. My stepdad had came in the room. Jonathan pauses the game, and Dustin keeps on because he don't realize what's going on. When he finally stops, my stepdad, his jaw had dropped, and he just left. Like, his jaw had dropped, and he leaves. Well, a few minutes later, we're talking about video games like Assassin's Creed. And I said, it'd be cool to really travel through different times like that, if you really could see what things really were like. Dustin screams out, "I'd be King Arthur ransacking stuff," and he's all excited, jumping around. Well, my stepdad had walked back in the room at that moment again, and he just looks at Dustin and goes, "I worry about you," and left. There is a card called Enlightened Tutor. I can't show you the actual artwork because we took it off a Facebook page. It's basically this guy we call Dustin Stalker, a friend of his that was really annoying and just always bothering him all the time. But I will put an AI-generated image. It's very close to the actual photo.